You wanted the best. You've got the best podcast. The hottest podcast in the world. The Chris Voss Show, the preeminent podcast with guests so smart you may experience serious brain bleed. The CEOs, authors, thought leaders, visionaries, and motivators. Get ready. Strap yourself in. Keep your hands, arms, and legs inside the vehicle at all times, because you're about to go on a monster education roller coaster with your brain. Now, here's your host, Chris Voss.
Hi, folks. It's Voss here from thechrisvossshow.com. There you go. Welcome to the show, ladies and gentlemen. When the Iron Lady sings it, that makes it official. So welcome to the big show. As always, the Chris Voss Show family is the family that loves you, but doesn't judge you, at least not as harsh as your mother-in-law, because, she never liked you anyway. She wanted that other guy. As always, guys, we've been bringing you, 3 to 4 shows a day, 4 to 5 shows, or 15 to 20 shows a weekday. I can't even get us right. 3 to 4 shows a weekday, 15 to 20 shows a week. There you go. I'm at the point where I can't do math anymore. I think I'm too old for math. Is there a point where you just get too old for math and you can just be like, I don't have to do math anymore? It's kind of like retirement. You just be like, I don't have to work anymore. You just be like, yeah, I'm old enough, I don't do math anymore. I've acquired too much knowledge. There's no reason for me to bother with math anymore. I don't know. There's a lot of Gen Zers saying that right now at 20. Anyway, guys, for further show your family, friends, and relatives, go to goodreads.com/Chris Voss, LinkedIn.com/Chris Voss, YouTube.com/Chris Voss. Subscribe to the big 7,000 plus, I think it's almost 8,000 LinkedIn group newsletter and 130,000 people over on LinkedIn as well. We have an amazing gentleman on the show today. We're going to be talking about business. You've heard it. Business. He is dubbed the legendary consultant. David Preston is going to be joining us on the show today to talk about his experience, his insights with over 30 years building multi-million-dollar consulting firms from scratch and helping companies be more successful in everything they do. So if you don't learn something from this show, well, then you need to go listen to it again, damn it. Anyway, he is dubbed the legendary consultant, David Preston, and he returns over millions of results from happy clients, companies, and marketers that he's helped. He shared the stage with over 200 of the top marketers available at one time or another, and has consistently been the top producer on the speaking circuit. He authored the first book teaching internet marketers how to work with local business owners the right way, Offline Goldmine 2006, and he's been helping people start a local consulting business and helping companies scale for over 30 years. Welcome to the show, David. How are you?
I'm doing, man, and thanks for that intro. I mean, that's actually me. I guess that's me.
There you go.
I've been around for a while.
I have a whole bunch of people that have said that they want me to follow them around and do their intros wherever they go. Now, did I get the name of that book right? Offline Goldmine 2006?
Yeah, I authored that in 2006, and it was basically showing internet marketers, how to start working with local business owners.
Mm-hmm. Back in the early days.
Yep, way back. And that was the first one that I know of.
There we go. Back. Got you back.
Yeah, it dropped me for a minute.
You were saying the first one you know of.
Yep, I was the first one, I believe, that ever authored a book teaching internet marketers how to work with local business owners. And it just went crazy.
There you go. It was probably the early days of the internet then, fairly early?
It was, actually. Very few websites. So it was an open market for small business owners that really, really needed the help. Mm-hmm. Because most of them didn't have a web presence. They didn't know anything about the internet. And it was, as one of them told me, it's kind of a funky animal I just stay away from.
It's a funky animal that I stay away from. I think people are still doing that. It was kind of interesting to me with COVID in 2020, how many restaurants and businesses that, they were going to need to learn to survive on the internet as opposed to, just brick and mortar. It was amazing how many restaurants didn't have a valid sort of website. They didn't have any sort of way to run orders through that. They really didn't see it coming, which no one did. I can't blame them.
Right.
But I was just kind of really surprised, like, you're not on the internet yet? Or, like, you don't have, like, a decent presence on the internet? Like, what's going on with you, man?
Yeah, it really didn't affect our clients much at all. as a matter of fact. But the reason was because one of the first things we do for our clients is teach them how to build a list of buyers only.
Oh.
So very simple, turn their foot traffic, into buyers. Mm-hmm. And then from there, all they had to do was send out a coupon, once a week on a weekly sale or whatever to the list. And then they would go to the store and open it for one day and fulfill the orders and then go back home.
There you go. People need that today, so there you go. Give us a 30,000 overview of what you do at your website at davidprestonconsulting.com and how you help clients.
Yeah, what we do basically is we try to get them, if they're plateaued, we have a lot of those clients that are entrepreneurs that are just kind of plateaued in their own deal, a media agency or an agency owner, and they've hit 5 figures, but they just can't seem to break through to 6 figures a month. And they can't figure it out. So we help them scale, very quickly to get to that. And then we have several different venues we work with. We also work with beginning internet marketers in a different setting and help them get started in their own home-based business, helping business owners. And I always tell everybody, go where the money's at, and the business owners already have you in their budget. You just got to put yourself in there.
Definitely. Get in there and get the budget.
That's it. Become part of that budget and your worries are over.
For years my employees had told me, we owned a lot of companies, and they would tell me, you need to start a consulting business. And I'm like, when am I ever get the time for this? Have you seen what's going on here at the office? And they're like, yeah, you can help other people do what you do. And I'm like, I don't have time to help myself at this point.
Yep.
And, we had a lot going on in 3 core companies. But then 2008 come along and decide, then I had to become a consultant because it wiped everything off the map. Tell us, how you help people discover consulting and maybe lead us up to it with a road of your journey in life, your hero's journey, and how you got into consulting.
Yeah, mine was kind of a weird journey. But I think all entrepreneurs are kind of that way to a degree. Yeah. And mine was super weird. Well, just because it's me. That's just how it is. But I worked for $1 billion corporation for many years and was in charge of 3 states and 23 stores at that time, retail. And they went out of business in 2 months, belly up. Didn't tell any of us. Wow. So I went from 6 figures a year, down to 0. And when you have 6-figure bills, unemployment really doesn't cut it. So what I did was I got this crazy idea. I said, well, I understand marketing and I know how to market. I mean, that was a big part of my job. Mm-hmm. So I went down to the local small business resource center and told them I'd be willing to teach a workshop, a half-day workshop to small business owners locally, just to help them and show them, how to market their business effectively. And we only had 9 people that showed up for that. And I taught a half-day workshop. I did an open Q&A, and that was the most important part, was just answering their questions, and it just blew me away how much they do not know about anything to do with marketing.
It's amazing.
And, it was like, I was in college level and they're in preschool, it was really that big of a difference. Mm-hmm. So when we got finished, I wasn't allowed to pitch anything. I wasn't allowed to sell anything because that's a government organization. They can't endorse anybody. And I was like, gotcha. So what I did was this was my pitch, and nobody ever figured this out. I said, if you get stuck, I got a box of cards on the table back there. Give me a call and I can walk you through it over the phone. This is not rocket science, guys. You can do this. And my phone rang off the hook. I mean, and they would call me, and the 2 most important words I tried to teach my students from that point forward was the 2 magic words is how much. The business owners are how much for you to do it for me. I'm like, you can get somebody else to do it, that's cheaper than me. I don't want somebody else. I want you. So you basically spend the entire time in front of the audience just really giving them some great, valuable information that really is aimed at helping them. Mm-hmm. And then I don't give them any handouts or any flyers. I just give them a notepad and a pencil. So they can write all they want And when they get back to their office, they can look at the stuff and they'll go, what the heck was I thinking there? I don't even know what that means. You know, then they wind up calling you. And that's how I took off. And then pretty soon I had somebody call me from a different place. And then the next day, a different place. And then pretty soon I was speaking at small business development centers that are in every college campus all over the nation. I didn't even know that.
Oh, wow.
And one of the biggest internet marketers out there right now hooked up with me because he was sitting at home and he saw an advertisement from the government, a PSA, telling them about me, that I was going to be teaching on a college campus, you know, a small business workshop, and it's a community service from my consulting firm. Mm-hmm. And his wife was like, what's wrong with you? And he goes, this guy's got the government advertising for him. He said, I got to meet this guy. How is he doing that? You know, and then I had PSAs everywhere, public service announcements. It was on the radio. It was on the TV. It just blew up.
Wow.
And it all came from the main concept is helping people. That's the main concept.
There you go. The main concept of helping people. You know, one of the things I see on your LinkedIn is you're talking about helping people establish their own consulting service where they can do it, and they can start your own home-based consulting firm for less than $40. That sounds really good. Do I have to know anything about anything to start consulting? No. Or no?
Actually, if you know about marketing, I tell people this all the time, mm-hmm. and I know it's kind of laughable in a way. Do I have to know anything? No. Well, if you know anything at all about internet marketing, I mean anything, mm-hmm. you're light years ahead of the local business community.
Really?
And the reason is those guys are really good at selling bowling balls or tennis shoes or whatever it is they're after. But as far as marketing or the internet goes, they don't understand anything.
Wow. So you can pick this up fairly quick and learning from you and working with you, and then doing what you call, there's something you have that looks like, this is like a ebook that you have or something that people can take advantage of?
Yeah, if they go to davidprestonconsulting.com, there's a little slider, that mm-hmm. they can download a checklist that mm-hmm. will help you, even if you're a mid-level agency, learn how to get yourself out there in a big, big way. And it starts with a beginner. It'll give you a checklist for a beginner, things you need to do, even from filing, a bank account and a business account, and how you can do it online with the IRS for $10, and do a DBA and get started from there. Some valuable information. A lot of people don't know that. You can actually file a DBA online, and it's free. And if you want to pay them $10, then you can get a printable version of it instantly. Take it to your bank, open a checking account, and you're a business.
You're in business doing the stuff. So that's pretty wild. And you guys offer a 30-minute Kickstart call that you could do one-on-one with you guys.
Correct.
To figure out the best way to map this out and everything else. This is awesome.
Yeah, so once they buy that, it's only, I think, $37. Mm-hmm. So if they buy that course, and it's a miniature course, but it includes a 1 hour and 21-minute Q&A between me and the largest marketing forum on the internet. So everybody that had a question could send it in, and it took me almost an hour and a half to answer all of the questions about how to start a local agency successfully.
That's pretty amazing.
So they get that audio, and then after that they get the checklist, and then on top of that they get a one-on-one call with me after they listen to the audio. If they have some questions, I tell them take some copious notes, write down your questions, and I'll give you some direction, because I just about guarantee you I've seen and heard it all.
How do you market with no list? If you're starting a new company, you don't have really any lists and stuff, how do you usually get off marketing?
One of the best ways is social media now. They didn't have that, of course, whenever I first started way back in the day. But fortunately now, they've got social media. LinkedIn is a great place to start. Facebook, of course. And you can look for small business groups. And even on Quora, or I've picked up a bunch of clients also on Reddit. And one of the things you can do is just don't go in there selling anything. You know, just the key is to do just exactly what I did in the beginning, just teach.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so I went in there and somebody would ask something, a small business owner, and I would try to help them, you know, as much as I could. And with the advent of AI, you could be an expert almost immediately. If you've got
you just have the AI,
you got another browser open,
yeah,
just jump on Chat GPT or AI RPM or Bing.ai and ask it the question from the forum, you know, and then come back in there and tell them, you know, how brainy you are.
I'm going to ask
ChatGPT
like, to teach.
I got to hook up with
physics.
this guy.
Yeah. There you go. I'll just walk around and talk about quantum physics, and people will be like, "That guy's really smart." I'm like, "ChatGPT, how smart am I?" So
That's
there you
true.
go. Yeah, it's
you know, so there are a lot of advantages now, you know, that they did not have whenever I first started. And what I always teach everybody in the beginning is start an email list, you know, even for business owners. And one of the reasons for that, it's very easy. A business owner's like, I don't know how to do that. It's very simple. So I opened an AWeber account, and then you can have unlimited autoresponders in there. And I would just name it whatever the business name is. You know, that's their autoresponder.
Yeah.
And then this is a trick, and if you're writing stuff down, write this down. This is a trick, is how to convert all their foot traffic into a buyer's list. Very simple process, and nobody just thinks of it. Is you call the credit card company, the merchant services provider, the number's right on the side of the terminal, and tell them you want to change the header on the machine. And then you do the same thing with the cash register company, customer service numbers right on the side. And they will walk you through it over the phone, how to change the header. And you just want to put it on there for preferred customer discounts and coupons. Go to, and you put their lead capture page on there, .com, and sign up today. It's free. And that's it. And that works tremendously, because the only people that see that are the people that have a receipt.
There you go. You know, that was another thing that was really interesting to me, where, you know, these companies hadn't built a list. They didn't have an email list that they put online. You know, the restaurants that got caught from COVID, and the other companies that got caught in COVID, they're like, holy crap, we need to be somewhere online because people aren't coming to the store. And they had not built a list. They didn't have an email thing. And boy, that was the wrong time to start trying to build a list, because no one was coming in to sign up for a list. And
there's another method that we teach the students that go through coaching with us, that they can show the business owners how to access a list of every buyer they've ever had and put them onto an email list instantly. So if they say, I don't have an email list, you're like, yeah, you do. You just don't know where it's at, but you've got a list, trust me.
There you go. So some of the things that people do when they run into a business and trying to start a business is they got to find the best business coach, and you do that, some of that as well. What's the best way to know how to find a good coach, and how well you can work together with one, and if they're going to guide you to success?
That's a great question, and I get that a lot. I always tell everybody has an inner being or a gut instinct, and every time I've ever ignored that, I paid for it. You know, if you're talking to a coach or a potential coach and you get a gut instinct about them, don't ignore it. You know, good or bad, don't ignore it, because that's a preview of the relationship. Guaranteed. I tell everybody that to begin with. But another thing is the coaching programs are not something, and this is what I find, and this is what I don't like, is a lot of the coaching programs are like cookie cutter type things, where they have all these great ideas like, I'm God, you can be, and you can't be, because, well, you're not them. It has to be customized for each individual person. So that's probably the key. You know, it's got to be all about you, and instead of all about the person.
I'm sure that makes all the difference in the world in making sure that if something kind of fits to you, you have a good vibe, the people, check and see if they know what they're doing. I met too many coaches living out of their cars. I find out later about, I'm like, I thought you were like a super successful person. I was like, no, I'm living in my car. So make sure you background check them and see if they really know what they're doing.
We've got a typhoon over here, so that could be part of that.
It could be. You're over there in the Philippines, correct?
Yeah.
There you go. Well, you got to watch.
But you're absolutely correct about. I've actually talked to, and I've shared the stage, of course, like I said, with a lot of big names, and there's some of the big names that are on the stage that just amaze me on why they're there.
Sometimes it's energy, enthusiasm, and hype.
Sure.
Motivation sells itself, but sometimes you walk away from those things going, "What the hell, really, did I get out of that?"
Right. And that was like, I know one guy that we were at a conference one time in Orlando, and I told the speaker, I told the producer of the show, I said, you need to get this guy on the stage. And I said, because he's the real deal, and he's really quietly under the radar, making six figures a month, mid six figures a month.
Mm-hmm.
And I said, and he's just basically doing small workshops with business owners locally, and he's just killing it.
So let me ask you this: what do you see the future of with AI and consulting, and what you're teaching your students to take and do in starting their own businesses? It sounds like AI can be quite helpful to them.
AI is absolutely awesome, if you use it correctly, and you got to fact check AI because it's wrong, about several things.
Yeah.
That's the best advice. It'll get better, as time goes on, but that's part of our coaching program too, is we introduce them to AI very easily, and we can get them involved in the beta programs for AI that we're in, and help them with that. AI RPM is a great one. ChatGPT, of course, has been out there, but if you're in ChatGPT as an example, they've got like 2,300 prompts in there, for different things.
Yeah.
If you to the beta program of AI RPM, they've got 26,000 prompts in there.
Wow.
Plus, they also have a system in there that you can click on called Get Human. So if you write something or have ChatGPT write it for you, you can go into AI RPM and click on the Get Human link, and it will make it emotional or make it like a human being wrote it.
Oh, wow. It's AIPRM.com.
Yep, AIPRM.com, correct.
There you go. Wow, this is pretty interesting, man. It's got a whole different prompts that you can take and use, community prompts. That's the whole interesting thing about ChatGPT is how you approach it, how you tell it to behave.
Correct.
The prompts you give are like pretty much everything. And
they're basically engineering prompts. They call it prompt engineering for a reason. And that's true.
There you go.
But what a lot of people don't realize is that you can have up to 4,000 characters in one prompt. So you can be really specific about exactly what you want in great detail. And it will go to work for you.
Wow.
Just look at it, like a butler, and you're explaining to it exactly what you want it to do and leave no stone unturned, and it'll go do it.
And so you can take in, if you need help, your client has an answer that maybe you don't understand, a client that needs help with something that maybe you don't have access to, you can use AI to ask the question and find out what the answer is.
Yeah, correct. Especially if it's in an industry that's kind of an odd industry. We had a client that was in freight, for a while, and believe it or not, that's a really strange industry, that they have different tariffs and different, way billing and that kind of stuff. It's just a totally different world.
Yeah.
It can help you with that type of thing.
So you teach how to implement the method to scale a company, how to start building lists of subscribers, how to start building things of businesses. What about people who feel that they fail with so many products or systems, and they they feel like they never be good at being a consultant?
Yeah, that's also a great question. There's well, you're really good at those great questions there, man. That was
That's right.
It's we call it a tried and failed community.
Mm-hmm.
And this is going to probably be music to your ears if you're in that community right now, is it's not really your fault. I got in a lot of trouble many years ago, if you could call it trouble. Not really trouble, but I just got a lot of backlash, let's put it that way, for calling out what I called theory peddlers at the time. And what a theory peddler is somebody who thinks of something or they see something online and they're like, oh, that's a great idea.
Mm-hmm.
And then they write a product about that idea, but they have no true knowledge of how that actually works because they've never done it.
I saw a lot of that in social media and Twitter when Twitter first came out. And I've seen that through all the different of the new biggest things. In fact, there's people writing books and writing things on how to use AI, and you're just like, it just got here.
Right.
And they claim to be AI masters, and I'm like, I'm not sure anybody's smart enough to master AI yet, but I don't know.
No.
You go, girl.
Yeah, but that's, theory peddlers will break you, man.
Mm-hmm.
And it's very difficult, to figure them out because a theory peddler makes everything sound so great, and it's a magic button,
mm-hmm.
and that should be your first flag right there. There's not really a magic button. If there was, everybody would have it.
That's true. We'd all be billionaires sitting
but
around.
Yes. So they'll create this product that they think is awesome, and then and this is how their entire system works. It's really horrible, but they'll sell it and sell it and sell it. People buy it because of all the great sales page and the hype and everything else that goes along with it. And then at the end of it, there's only really about 10% of the people that's actually going to do it. And out of those 10%, they'll gladly refund the 10% of those people that says, hey, this doesn't work. Okay, sorry. So they'll refund it. Sorry, it did not work for you, but they're still making 90% profit on everybody else who buys it and never does anything with it.
Yeah, that's true. There's some people that never use the services, really.
Yeah, correct. And then they send them another email that says, oh, the reason if it's not working for you, is because you're missing, hey, this one extra part, that costs this much or, whatever. They're really, really good at that bright, shiny object stuff.
Yeah. Yeah. It's kind of interesting how they play their game. Now, do you help consultants? One of the big things people have is how to price their services and earn good commissions.
Yep.
Do you help people figure that out? Because a lot of people, they underprice themselves, or sometimes they're supposed to overprice themselves. How do you help people find that right balance?
Yeah, that's a great question. A lot of ways of what we do it, too, is online research. And sometimes we put it out to the group, let the group look at it, and they'll say, hey, I think that's too much, or yeah, I would pay that, or I don't think it's enough. And that's pretty good feedback for the most part, but another way is to do polls online and social media
mm-hmm.
and find out from there and just do some research online about similar products or products in that area of expertise.
Mm-hmm.
And then we price it.
Can tell you what good prices are charged for consulting.
They absolutely can. GPT, Bing.ai was a great one for that.
Really? Wow.
You can go on there and just type in, what are the current product prices for? And you put a description of it, and it'll go find them in 30, 40 seconds, and start listing them on the page. And you're like, oh, wow. So we're way off on that. We should be charging a lot more.
No kidding. I need to start pulling the unit there for that. I never even thought about that. That's funny as hell to consider.
Yep.
We use ChatGPT in a number of AI products, but I really need to use them more. So there's that.
I'll tell you, one of the funny stories you're talking about that's really funny about AI is I had one guy ask me online, and it was on social media, and he said, so what do you think is the best way to learn AI? You know a lot about it, because I've seen your posts. What's the best way to learn it? What's the best course? Mm-hmm. That was the question. What's the best course to learn AI? And I said, go to this link, and I gave him the link to sign up for AI RPM. I said, it is an extension of ChatGPT. Mm-hmm. So get ChatGPT and then add AI RPM as an extension. And then they'll work together. And I said, and here's what you do. You go into the text box in there in ChatGPT mm-hmm. and tell it to give you a course on using artificial intelligence.
There you go.
And guess it's the best teacher in history.
It's ChatGPT. It's kind of like
and it's free.
There you go. It'll teach you how to just use itself.
Correct.
It's like when my mom will call me about stuff on how to do something. I'm like, Mom, I love you, but you could just put this into Google and search it. She's like, oh, really? I'm like, yeah, Mom, just anything you ever could want to know, you just ask Google, and I've given her the devices where she can do the Google thing. I don't want to trigger it. So there you go.
Yeah, Google knows.
So what have we talked about that we may have missed that you do in helping people get their consulting businesses started from scratch and getting things going for themselves?
Yeah, one of the great things is, everybody shops at stores all the time. If you're in your local area, talk to some of the business owners when you go in there. Mm-hmm. Just talk to them as a person, and tell them, I run a local business marketing agency or a local consulting firm. And here was the guarantee to me, was I would just tell them, I ask them, do you have a list of buying customers already? And if they go, no, then you say, I can help you build that list, and I'll guarantee double your ROI on it. Yeah. Or I'll work for you for free until I do.
It's important to build the list, man. Everything's about lists nowadays, mailing lists and everything else.
It is.
There you go. Give us your final thoughts as we go out. Pitch people on how they can onboard with you, how they can do business with you, or reach out and talk to you. Tell us how that all can take place.
Yeah, of course, you can go to davidprestonconsulting.com, and there are some links in there on the headers, where you can become an affiliate, or there's the coaching program is in there, One Up to Wealth, coaching program is in there. And that's an elite coaching program. We offer financing for that, by the way. Mm-hmm. That is really, really good. So for less than $300 a month, you can start your own agency and get rolling and work with us one-on-one.
There you go.
And just really start hammering. And our goal is to get you to 5 figures as quickly as possible per month. And it's pretty easy to do if you've been there before and know what you're doing. But other than that, too, they can also go to LinkedIn, and just look up the Legendary Consultant, and I've got a pretty extensive profile there, and I get a lot of messages every day in there. I have a VA that goes through all of that stuff, but it's my wife, so if it's she's Filipina, and she's awesome customer support manager, and she personally takes care of my stuff. So if you send me an email, davidprestonconsulting.com, I will personally get that. So I don't hide from anybody. I don't put barriers between me and anybody else. And I will literally try to help you, as much as I can. Of course, that's limited to a point where, if you're starting to eat up a lot of my time, I'm going to say, hey, you need to go sign up as a coaching client because you're killing me here.
Yeah. There's some people that will do that. So give us the .com so people can find you on the interwebs.
davidprestonconsulting.com. And if you just go to Google and punch in David Preston, you're going to see that's the whole first page of Google is all of my sites.
Nice.
I think there's, it's 1.4 million results or something like that. If you look up Legendary Consultant David Preston, I'm out there. And I've been out there for a long time. I had no idea until somebody pointed that out to me at a show. And I was like, really? And they were like, yeah. So I use that a lot now. but you can also, get a course to start for less than $40 that gives you everything you need. The hour and a half audio of Q&A with all beginners that have no clue what they're doing. And I went really in depth with that. And then that's an all-inclusive course. Plus you get a kickstart call with me to answer any further questions and help you get rolling. And then the coaching program is running full blast right now. And that's really helping a ton of people. So we got different modules in there. You get certificates of completion. And I have 3 other coaches. One of them is a forensic CPA, so they teach you about P&Ls, and this is the real business world.
Profit and losses, yeah.
Yeah. So when you get in there and start looking at a business owner, if they ask you a question, you can say, I'll take care of that. And you can come back to the team and they'll say, well, let's look at their P&L, just as an example. So they know that you know what you're doing. Because you've got a team of experts. I think between us, we've got 74 years of consulting experience.
Oh, wow. And then imagine you can help people that want to speak, too, because a lot of speaking and consulting, you mix it all together, really.
Yeah, and there's actually something that you can do if you want to get on podcasts, you want to do other things. I mean, there's a service that is on there that I'm subscribed to. It's about $60 a month. And that's also on our site, davidprestonconsulting.com.
Awesome.
And, man, it works really well. But on the flip side of that, you can actually go on Zoom and click on Zoom and start a new meeting with just you and practice in front of the camera until, you get comfortable with it. And then start going after shows. You can record it. You can do other stuff and send it out. It's a great tool, and it's free. Yeah.
There's a lot of resources that are out there that you've got listed. Give us the .com one more time, David, as we go out.
Yep, davidprestonconsulting.com.
There you go. You can start your own consultancy business finally, folks.
Help as many local business owners as you can. And like I said, they've already got you in the budget. So you don't have to worry about trying to bill people or invoice them or worry about getting paid. These guys are already spending it on advertising. And they'll gladly spend it on you if you can show them a good ROI.
Yeah, if you can double their ROI. And a lot of times, usually the money they're spending on a budget, it's not working for them as well as they think it is and they need to. And if someone can come in there and tweak it, then there you go. So thank you very much, David, for coming on the show. It's been really insightful, and hopefully we've inspired a whole lot of people to work with you to start their own consulting business. I had to do mine. I was forced to do mine by the 2008 Great Recession. But I've enjoyed it ever since because technically it beats having hundreds of employees. So there you go.
Correct. And I can tell you one thing is the biggest key to success is outsource. You got to let go of that control.
Yeah.
If you're going to scale, you've got to let go of the control. I agree nobody can do it as good as you can, but there are people that are out there that can do it good enough.
Scaling is so important.
Let go. Hire some VAs, hire some qualified VAs, and start scaling. That's the only way you're going to scale.
There you go. Well, thank you very much for David for coming on. Thanks for our audience for tuning in. Go to goodreads.com/Chris Voss, LinkedIn.com/Chris Voss, Chris Voss 1 on the Tickety Talkety. There's Chris Voss, Facebook.com, and all that good stuff. Thanks for tuning in. Be good to each other. Stay safe, and we'll see you guys next time.